Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy or Amylouise. Today we're doing Halloween makeup, which makes me very happy, except for the fact that I just did one and I had to wash it up because I got pain in my eyeball because I put too much water in it, and now I have a slightly weird eye. So we're gonna start this again. I had to go and wash my face. I've still got orange like up my nose, but it's fine. We'll keep going. So I'm gonna start off by blocking out my brows. I'm gonna use the Pink Honey. This will work. I've done it before. It's a really good little way of actually using something that you already have in a way that it's not supposed to be used. But when you think about it, soap brows are pretty much blocking your brows anyway. I'm going to take my spoolie with Pink Honey. I'm going to really go back and forth into the brow. Get that in there. And then I'm going to push all the little hairs up and really try and get them as flat as I possibly can to my skin. So once I've got the Pink Honey through the brow, I'm actually going to scrape off the excess from the spoolie, and then I'm going to flip the brush over and use the end to pick it back up and like create a layer almost over the brow. And I'm really pushing the hair down. I'm going to take a damp cotton bud and I'm just going to remove the excess from the skin but not the brow itself. I just don't want any of the, I don't want it to be clumpy, and I can use the stick of the cotton bud again to really make sure those brows are laid flat. Now I'm going to take the Sample Beauty in number 1. This is the Erase and Boost. It is very light. I'm not going to colour correct my brows just because I'm going in with orange anyway, so that is going to colour correct over them. So it's not a problem. So I'm just going to tap this over the top. You don't want to be like swiping or anything, you want to tap so that you're not like moving the brow hairs. Like a very thick full coverage concealer for this. I'm going to take my fan and dry it down to about 75% or thereabouts, and then I'm going to go back in with concealer. I want another layer. You want to cover as much as you can really, so I'm going to tap on over again, and I'm going to dry this again to about 75%. I'm going to take a stippling brush and I'm just going to get the very edges and just like tickle the edges to blend them in just a little bit more with the skin, because you don't want it to be like that's where the brow should be. You want it to just kind of fade a little bit, but don't touch the brow hairs themselves. I'm now going to take setting powder. You want a translucent powder. This one is the Beauty Bakery Flour Powder. Oh my gosh. Beauty Bakery Flour Powder. And I'm going to take a little puff, like a makeup puff. You want a good amount of powder. You want to push this right on in. Like really push it in. And then a nice big fluffy brush, you can tap over the edge. Okay, I'm going to start mapping out my shapes. So I'm going to take the Fresh Ink by PicsArt and a liner brush. This is just a Morphe M250-0. Use whatever you have. I'm going in with a liner brush. And I'm going to start to map out the shapes of the eyes, the nose and the mouth. We don't have to be perfect. I'm going to fill in all these areas again with my Fresh Ink. It's going to take me a while, but I'm going to get it done. Okay, so now we are at this point. I'm going to take a lip liner. Any lip liner, any colour. This one is Wet n Wild Fab Fuchsia. It is huge and I rarely use it, so I might as well get the use out of it. I'm going to start to sketch the mask shape that I want. This doesn't have to be perfect. You can easily go in and tweak this just to give yourself a rough idea of where you want the mask shape to be. Then I'm gonna go in with the Snazaroo dark orange face paint. I love the Snazaroo ones, so I'm gonna go in with that. I've got a little bit of water in this pipette bottle, so I'm just gonna use that to activate them. And I'm gonna go and fill in the full mask area, except for the black areas, of course. Okay, so next step, I do not have a brown face paint. I thought I did, and now I'm realizing I don't. So I'm gonna have to mix a couple of shades. So I'm gonna mix the orange, the green, and the blue, and that should make a brownie kind of color. So I'm just gonna quickly do that. Okay, so I have my brown here. It is mainly orange with a tiny little bit of blue and a tiny little bit of green. The blue I used is called Royal Blue, and the green I used, I just dropped, and the green I used is bright green. So nice and easy. Okay, so before I go any further, I want to add some details in, and then I'm going to go in with the brown. So I'm going in with the Antidote palette. I'm going in with the shade October and a Morphe Jaclyn Hill GH37, and I'm gonna just kind of start to shade in. I'm hoping this is dark enough. I'm gonna a little bit of pecan too. I'm gonna shade in like an eyebrow kind of shape, like a rounded. Gonna contour almost just in the cheekbone area, and then I'm gonna do just a bit down here too, just under the chin, just to give a little bit more definition. I'm then gonna take a Dress Up 223. It's just a little tiny bullet brush, and I'm gonna take the Prescription Cosmetics Neon Orange pigment. I'm just gonna tap into the lid, and I'm gonna use this to highlight. Okay, so I'm gonna take my little splodgy brown that I made and a Morphe M250-1 brush. I want this quite liquidy, so I'm just gonna really water this down, because I almost want it to leak and just kind of flow where it wants to flow almost. This is what I'm going to use to create the detail of the look. So I'm going to start from the eyes. I need a mirror so that I can see a bit better. So I'm going to start from the eyes, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle it up. I'm going to go all over. I don't mind going over all that highlight and shading that I just added. Now I've got the lighter brown, I'm going to go find my black, and I'm actually going to add some black to the brown to darken it up. I want there to be differences. I don't want it all to just be flat and like just one tone. So I'm adding black, make it darker, and then I'm going to go in again and do the same thing. I want them to be kind of here, there and everywhere. I want some darker, some lighter, some thicker, some thinner, some long, some short. So I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna add more in just wherever I feel. And I'm kind of, you can see where my cheekbone goes in, I've contoured that area, and I'm gonna kind of follow that along a little bit, like work with your own facial anatomy. Okay, so next I'm going to take that same brush and the black, and I'm going to start to add black. So I want to go straight from the eye up. I need a mirror a bit closer, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle up and just kind of add these in and kind of, I don't know, demonize it a little bit. I feel like it makes it look way more evil, and I'm getting larger as I go further out. I'm going right down the center too. And I'm making sure that some of them kind of have like a wide foot, like you can see here. I've got like one going up, and then I've like took it off and like up. So you should have something like this, and it's okay for it to look messy. Now I'm going to take that brush and I'm going to go from the edges of the mouth, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing from the edges of the mouth. And this is where you can change the shape of your mouth, or anything else that you fancy doing that is black and you just want to tweak a little bit. Okay, I think I am happy with the black. So now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to add some more highlights. So I'm going to take the neon orange from Prescription Cosmetics and the neon yellow, and I'm going to add some highlights. So I'm going to first off start with the orange. So I'm going to take that orange brush that I used before, and I'm going to just start to add in a few highlights just like I did before, so like above the brow. This is why I said earlier, it's okay if you go over those areas. It's really not an issue, and you don't need to be super precise with this. So I'm going to highlight some of the areas that I added the black lines. I'm going to just add more definition, which will highlight areas now, and then I'm going to go in and just highlight certain points of different lines, the texture lines that we've created. And then I'm going to go in with the yellow. I just take whatever's in the lid, because honestly these are so pigmented. And I'm basically going to do the same thing again. More to these kind of brow areas that we created, and then just in random areas where I just want to highlight. And then I'm going to go back to the Antidote and I'm going to add in some more of that contour a little bit more. So those same 3 shades, which were October, Spiced Coral and Pecan. And I can just add in more of the contours. And I'm going to contour like the bridge of my nose. So I'm taking October, Spice Coral and Chestnut, and I'm just going to contour this, the bridge of my nose area. Okay, so time to actually add skin tone and make this look more like a mask. So I'm going to take, what foundation do I want to wear today? I'm just going to take concealer. I'm going to tap it around my jawline because that's where I need the most coverage. A little bit up here, not a lot. And then I'm just going to take that stippling brush that I used earlier, just going to blend that in. And then I'm going to take my powder foundation. This one's the L'Oreal Infallible, and I'm just going to add that around the edges. You can of course just use your regular foundation or whatever, but for this small amount of area, I don't really see the point. Now I'm going to take that liner brush and the brown that we made, and I'm going to actually line the full mask area. And then I'm going to take the black and I'm going to use this to create shadow almost. So in areas like up here, areas where when you put a mask on there's like a gap, so like the temples, at the top of the brow, and like down here, I'm going to start to add a little bit of brown, and I'm talking tiny amount, just to create a little bit more dimension. And then with the black, I'm actually just going to draw a line into the hairline so it looks like the elastic of a face mask. So it's not like a big detail, but it's just something extra that as you're walking around the party, they're like, oh yeah, cool little detail. Not that I'm wearing this to a party, because I am going to be washing this off pretty much straight away and going to the school run, because it's already 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I have 2 hours left. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Antidote palette, and this is where I'm going to start to add shading around the mask. So I want a little fluffy brush. I'm taking this, what even is this? I think this is a Sigma E3747. I'm not sure, but it's just a little flat fluffy brush, and I'm going to take Chestnut, which is the dark brown in here, and I'm going to add this all the way around the mask to start to create some shadowing. And in areas where you added that black, you can bring it out a little bit more so that it looks a little bit more like a shadow. Okay, I would get changed and everything and like make this a whole thing, but honestly I don't really see the sorry. But yeah, this is the finished look. Okay, so this is the finished look. I need to do something with my hair, but this is the finished look. Let me know what you think down below. I love it. I think it's something fun, a little bit different. I know it's very different to my usual like blonde makeup and stuff, but I'm very happy. it is October, it is spooky season, it is my favourite time of year, so there will definitely be more Halloween looks coming. Maybe not face paint looks, but there's other looks coming. Let me know what you want to see next, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.